This is the Horse Radio Network. Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the WESA Coronavirus Roundtable. We have a group of great panelists today for you that I'll introduce you to in just 1 minute. For those of you that don't know me, I am Glenn the Geek, founder of the Horse Radio Network. We are the most popular podcast network in the world. We have produced over 10,500 episodes over the last 12 years. It makes us one of the largest independent podcast networks in the world for any niche. And I am the host of the Horses in the Morning show. It's a daily show that's been running for about 10 years. I am also apparently the coronavirus guy because we've been doing coverage on this for about 2 months. We were kind of the ones to warn the horse world that it was coming because my brother is one of those guys that watches this stuff and called me and said, hey, this is all coming. You better pay attention to it for your listeners. So we've been doing daily shows about this every day for the last 2 months. And we are also the producer of the Wisdom by WESA podcast that many of you have probably heard. So I also wanted to mention that I was in retail before doing this. I was 10 years in retail. We had a retail shop, sold tack and supplies in Pennsylvania. And then after we sold that, we were the second ones to have a store online, and we were the second website online selling stuff, and that's how I got the name Glenn the Geek. Everybody called me a geek because they thought that was so weird at the time when the internet first started, when you had to send checks in to buy something and there was no shopping carts. So that was way back when, and then I've been a consultant for a number of retailers over the years in the horse world, so that's my connection to the retail side as well. So we have some great guests here for you today, and we really want to talk about what's happening now and start a conversation with everybody because we're all going through the same thing. We're all in the same boat. We're all being affected by this, whether you're a manufacturer, a wholesaler, or a retailer. We're all in the same boat, or media, like I am. And we wanted to work with WESA to get a dialogue going and to start a conversation to find out what's working for people, what's not working, and just basically to talk about where we're at and where we might be. I know a little bit just from the tons of reading I've done as far as what the speculation is about when we're getting back to business and all of that. We'll go into that a little bit later. But first, I want you to meet the panelists here. We have a wide variety. And first up, I'm going to introduce Kat, who is a friend of mine from a long time ago, and she is with Benefab, and she is the founder of Benefab and the author of the book Broken to Branded. And Kat is really representing the manufacturing and wholesale side of things today, the company side. So Kat, welcome, first of all.
Thank you. Thanks, Glenn, for having me.
Give a very short Reader's Digest version of what Benefab is, and then are you guys shipping? What's your current status?
Sure. So Benefab, we do therapeutic wearable products for horses, dogs, and people. So it's a little bit unique because we have those three individual markets. So we're seeing this affecting each market differently right now. But we are actually currently shipping.
Are you considered a vital industry in Florida?
Yes, we are an essential business because we are pet supply. Yeah, so we are able to, and we're shipping. We're obviously taking a lot of necessary precautions, but I am doing my absolute best to keep everybody on the payroll. And we have a small team, but it is a team nonetheless. And I really don't want them to have to change their situation and go on unemployment. And so we're getting very creative. But yeah, we are open and shipping, just not open to the public.
And how are sales?
So sales have been, obviously cash flow is the lifeblood of your business.
Right.
Sales are certainly down for us, thankfully, not significantly, but a lot of our retailers have just totally disappeared. The mom and pop shops are closed. So we're seeing a lot of, I guess we're getting hurt there, but we're also seeing an uptick in Amazon traffic, and we're getting really good engagement on social media. So that's helping that direct business. And we just launched into the face mask business. So we are actually doing cut and sew in-house. I have a cut and sew manager, and we are sewing and shipping face masks, which have really helped us. So that's what I mean by getting really creative.
Can you send one over?
Yes. As soon as we catch up on orders, we're really behind. But yeah. So
Cat's place is only about 5 miles from me, actually.
Yeah,
So
I can drive one down
in Ocala. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, good. Thank you, Kat. And we're going to come back to Kat. We're going to next bring on a rep that's Sherman's been a rep in this industry for probably longer than most of you have been alive. So, Sherman, 40 years, right?
Yes.
And what companies do you rep currently?
I rep two ladies apparel lines. One is called Angie, and the other one is Rising International. The Angie line is a division of a company called Star of India, and they're based out of Tempe, Arizona. They're a mainstream sportswear line, but a significant amount of my volume is done with Western and farm and ranch stores. The farm and ranch stores in my territory, which is the Rocky Mountain states, are a huge part of the retail climate in this particular area. So most of my farm stores are still open and doing business, and I guess it would be considered essential retailers because of the feed and seed, and I think guns and ammo is included in that category too. The clothing areas, I can tell you right now, those areas are down. I've taken cancellations from some of my major accounts in my territory, along with some of my smaller boutiques that unfortunately are not open and are sitting on inventory, spring and summer inventory that they took in early, and frankly unable to take in any more inventory until this crisis is over. So
are your companies shipping at this point, or are they in operation?
They're shipping. Everybody is shipping.
Okay.
Angie, my major line, has laid off a couple of people in house to cut expenses, and they're doing a tremendous marketing job online. Unfortunately, many of those stores, even taking at-once discounts online, the stores are still struggling to take merchandise in at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I've seen from all of my contacts over on the media side, the retailers that had a good website presence, a good online business going into this, are definitely faring better than the ones that didn't.
Well, I think that's definitely true. But certainly the traffic in the stores is down significantly.
Are most of your stores doing curbside pickup, or can you still walk in? Like the ones in Ocala here, most of them are curbside now, which will decrease the amount of clothing and stuff.
In my territory, I'm unaware of anybody doing curbside. Okay. Everything is still walk in if they're still open.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's go right now to another member of the media, and that's April. Hi, April.
Hello.
April is with Horse Community Journal. She's out of Canada. She's a sales and social media manager. And you guys, kind of explain what you guys do.
So our flagship product is our print magazine that's coast to coast across Canada. But we also have a digital side of things. We have a website, our social media, and then marketing options across that. So we serve our readers. And then we also serve our advertisers as well. So it's kind of twofold right now. The magazine's been in publication for 28 years, so pretty strong on that side. And now with the digital side, we'll be able to open up all across North America and even internationally as well.
So what have you seen? What have you seen coming from the magazine side in the last? We have seen some of our advertisers obviously have to pull back at this point, and because they're not shipping. I mean, some of them are just not in business right now. Mm-hmm. So are you seeing the same thing? And
oh, completely. So we've had several regular advertisers have to cancel their ads for the next issue, which of course is understandable. A lot of our advertisers are in Ontario, which have pretty much been mandated to shut down if they're not essential. So we're just doing our best to work with our clients the best that we can. At the same time, we've actually had new business come in for some businesses that are able to operate online or still wanting to reach out to their customers, we're there for them. But it's definitely impacting the industry in Canada and internationally. And we're seeing quite a lot of that. So we're just doing our best to work with our clients and our advertisers and still serve our readers and audience as well.
And I know some parts of Canada are on stricter lockdown. We are. You can't even cross the county line. They'll stop you and fine you $1,000. You know, it's crazy in some parts.
Yeah, here it's definitely non-essential travel is not suggested. Where we're based, we're actually on an island, so it's kind of good because there's not a lot of people coming in and out. So we have that on our side. But yeah, different provinces across Canada are under different levels of restrictions. So our whole office is working from home now, which we have been doing for about 2 weeks, which is great to be able to do that. I'm really grateful to be able to continue to work for sure.
Well, in April, you had put out a newsletter. We're going to get to that a little bit later. I have one more person to introduce, but we really had some good ideas and this same kind of thoughts we've been having and doing actually here. And we're going to go over some of those in just a minute of what everybody can be doing right now to prepare for the future, because we eventually will open up again. It's going to be different. It'll probably will be different. The world's going to be a little different, but we need to adapt as we always do. I mean, I know Sherman and I were in business. We had our retail shop in 9/11 and lived through that. And after 9/11, it was the same as this. Nobody did anything but watch the news for 6 weeks and then kind of got back into life again. But let's introduce Renee. So let's bring Renee on. Hi, Renee.
Hi.
And you're with Annie Oakley, correct?
Yes, the Annie Oakley Perfumery.
Okay, cool. And thank you so much for joining us. Where are you located?
We're located in Ligonier, Indiana, between South Bend and Fort Wayne, the northeastern parts of Indiana.
All right, so you guys are under lockdown too, for sure.
We are.
So tell us a little bit about the company, and then what are you seeing sales-wise and otherwise at this point?
Okay. Well, we are an original perfumery where we create, blend, fill, and ship directly from our perfumery to the dealers, our partners. And we are on lockdown. Right now we have product for spring and summer. So we have switched our lines to make hand sanitizer.
Okay.
Because it is. That's
a good idea.
It can't be found. Well, we are perfumery, and so we have our alcohol room, and the Indiana State got a hold of us, and they need it for the healthcare. So we thought, I'm really tired. I've been working 24/7. Yeah, 24/7, changing lines and getting, the formulas, with the, there's a new formula now, which is like a gold standard, which 80% with moisturizers. So this is where your healthcare people and your essential people need, to have that. So we will be launching that within the next 10 days. And honestly, what's happening in the global industry, there's a huge shift in global demand, for essentials. That includes the U.S. So it's just not the U.S. wants it or doesn't have it. The world doesn't have it. It's the new luxury fragrance, but it's unscented. We're running unscented, okay?
Which is better for nurses and doctors and stuff too. Yeah,
absolutely. It's better for everybody because of the effectiveness of it. Like I said, this is a new gold standard that we're running, and we can go back to some fun things, after things loosen up a little bit. But right now, that's what we're running, or we will be running, and it will be available to our dealers as well as our local community. We're donating it to our policemen, our first responders, the nurses. My daughter is on the front line. She's a lead nurse and will be an NP in another month. And she heads up the emergency room. So we are, yeah, we're in it. So since we're an essential, we are shipping. We're shipping to our stores. Sales have dropped. Of course, many stores aren't open. You call, they're closed. But the ones that are open, some of them are only selling and looking at essentials right now. But it seems to be, humming along. And although things are down, it's not, it's still, the cash flow is still going. So we are still in business. And I'm very grateful.
I'm knocking on wood for you right now. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very grateful. I wake up every morning very grateful. I am not in Indiana. I left the trade show. I left Denver and then came to Florida. And we flew home to birth a grandbaby. And then my husband scooted me out and said, you get back down, because I had set up my office here. So I'm here. And so we're directing our staff. And so for the formulation, my son, who's a surgical dentist, obviously the dentists are closed, or they're just taking, surgery.
Well, wait a minute. The dentist is now working in the fragrance factory?
Absolutely. He's my son is going to compound it for us. So because we can't be there, he's taking the helm.
Well, Renee, I'm glad that you were able to adapt and to shift, and that's what a lot of companies. And I know a lot of the companies in the horse world in Europe and everywhere else, just like Benefab's doing, are making masks and shields, and have really converted. And I think we're going to have to do that. So let's talk a little bit about a couple of the things, and I'm going to go back to April. So April, you guys put out a newsletter today that really talked about a couple of the things that you should be doing now, whether you're a retailer or whether you're a manufacturer or whatever business you're in. There's some things that we can be doing right now. One of them is spending time on the things you never get to, like the website, like planning, things like that you're so busy doing that you never get to them. So let's talk about that a little, April.
So we did send an e-newsletter out to everybody in our database for businesses, just kind of on COVID and the horse industry. And some of the suggestions we had made, now is not the time to be quiet. Like, I think it's really important to make sure that your website is up to date, easy to navigate, and that you're available for customers, either through the website, email, social media. I know a lot of people are working remotely, but are still available, which I think is really helpful. And if you're able to continue marketing, now is the time. I think a lot of people need to think more about the long game. As you mentioned, one day we will get back to normal, and anything that we do now as far as customer relations and just communication and being there for customers and clients, I think is really beneficial, and people will remember down the road when they are able to buy again and purchase, and things are sort of back to whatever normal is going to be in the future.
Well, it's, we always say that in marketing, you have to be there when you have to be in their mind when they want to buy that product. And if somebody else was in their mind the day before, they want to buy your particular type of product, that's who they're going to buy from. So you always have to be there. I've been surprised. I've been looking around at a bunch of manufacturer sites in the horse world, and I know some of them that are closed that haven't posted anything, and they haven't answered any of the messages, and that's a huge mistake right now.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. The first thing I do, because a big part of my job is contacting companies for advertising. And the first thing I do, especially right now, is check their website and their Facebook page. And as you said, I've seen many that there's nothing. So their customers don't know, are they still running? Are they okay? Like, are orders still going out? So I think that kind of communication is really important. And it doesn't have to cost you anything but your time. That's the great thing about social media is it just takes time. And like you said, a lot of people are having more of that on their hands right now. So it's a good opportunity to reach out, build those relationships for now and in the future.
And that might mean that, maybe you've had to lay off some people. Maybe you've had to do some things like that. It could be that you're going to have to shift to one of the people that's not used to doing social media, because that person, you can't pay them right now. You're going to have to do it. You're just going to have to do it. I mean, we're all doing things we'd never thought we'd do. Like, I hate doing video, and here I am every day doing a show. So there we are, right? Kat, you wrote a book on marketing. What's your thought on that right now?
Well, I definitely agree with April and what you guys are saying. I think, I guess to kind of piggyback on that, I think that we have a lot of time. We can write, use this time. I know people don't like to sometimes write, and it seems like everything else will be piled on before we do that. So I think this is a time, even if it's for organic traffic, write about blog posts, articles, different things that we can do. I know also some of the magazines are looking for those, articles right now, and having less space from advertisers, see if there's editorial opportunities out there. I definitely think this is a time to get on social media and start engaging your following. There are more people right now on social media than ever before. Look at the surge in this whole TikTok platform that we've had. When you see what's happening, yeah exactly. Yeah. There's so many people at home on what they're addicted to, their cell phones. So I think that we're seeing there's a lot more traffic there. So I think that you can really tap into that and really engage your following and keep in touch with them easily. And the other thing is, for me, like working on my personal habits, this has been a really good time. I agree with April about, you don't want to be quiet right now. Now is not the time to be quiet, but it is a time where we can like really reflect on what we've done and figure out, maybe we cut the things that aren't working and we push more dollars behind the things that are. To me, this is not the time to pull back. It's the time to get creative and seek opportunity.
Actually, from the Horse Radio Network side, we're spending more money on marketing now than I have in years. And it's paying off because people are, they're looking for information right now that they probably wouldn't pay attention to this particular type of information any other time. So, I viewed it as an opportunity from our side. And probably we shouldn't be spending that money right now as our income has decreased too, like everybody else's. But I also know that we're going to come out of this and, we're going to be better off for it. But that's a hard decision to make. Let me tell you, it's hard to spend more money on marketing when you have less money coming in. However, that's the part, and I think that Sherman and Renee can vouch for this. It's the first thing that every company cuts back when times get tough is the marketing, and that's when you should be increasing your marketing and cutting everywhere else you can. Because without that marketing, you're not helping sales at all. Because again, you're not going to be in their mind when they go to buy. When that customer goes to buy that particular product, whatever it is, you're not going to be in their mind at that point. And somebody who increased their marketing is. Sherman, anything to say about that?
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Early in my career, I was a small department store manager, and we used to talk about that a lot. Do you increase marketing when times are good, or do you increase marketing when times are tough? And it was always a consensus that you add more money to your marketing budget when times are tougher. So yes, I agree with you.
And that's the first thing that usually people cut. And I think it's a big mistake. Don't get me wrong. It's a hell of a decision to make, right? Because you're looking at all the bills that need paid too, and then you're going, marketing is an easy one to cut out, but it certainly does not help you in this case, which could be months down the line, right? When we finally get back to some semblance of life again. So that's one thing. Now, let's go to the next thing, too, that you had, April, and that was the loans that are available now in the United States and Canada. I just hate you people up there because you guys seem to be getting a much better deal than us down here right now. So, Renee, real quick, what's going on up there? I want to move quick. Can I? Am I allowed? No?
I think the borders are closed last time I checked, but I don't think I've ever been more grateful to be Canadian than right now. That's fair to say.
You guys, they're doing all kinds of things for businesses and individuals, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So initially I was listening to the press conferences every morning, and that became a bit too much. So I've stopped, but there are lots of things available for people who have lost work, unemployment insurance, bonuses, GST credits. And then for businesses, they're really doing a lot to support small businesses. And one thing that I know a little bit about because it's relevant to us is um, for small businesses, if we can show a loss of 30%, they're offering a 75% wage subsidy. So unfortunately, we are able to show that loss with lots of
I
regular
think most people are
advertising.
at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yay, we made it, but no, not yay. So that's something that is going to be available to us shortly. They're just rolling it now, and it is something that we will take advantage of for sure. And that's really encouraging for me to know that I have some job security. And again, a lot of what I'm doing right now is not selling, it's customer relations, it's seeing how we can serve our customers, getting creative, trying to think outside of the box. And just building those relationships too. But yeah, it seems like almost every day there's more government initiatives available for, as you said, like businesses and also individuals. So it doesn't mean that we're not going to be really greatly impacted by this, especially in the horse industry. Outside of my full-time job, I actually coach as well, and I've had to stop doing that completely. And that's been a pretty big loss, not just financially, but also with my students and our goals for the year and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's just everybody is impacted so much by this.
Yeah, I had a professional rider on last night, and we had a conversation about that for half an hour. And the thing we have to keep in mind too is that horses are a luxury item. I mean, it's a first world problem to have horses, right? I mean, we are all in a first world situation here. We're fortunate to have them, but they're also, they're a luxury item, and unfortunately, that always takes a hit in times like after 9/11 and 2008. And I want to acknowledge a couple of the people who are posting here. Tracy says Wrangler has done a wonderful job reaching out to the farming and ranching community. They had a very heartfelt letter to their customers offering an additional 30% off. Again, they went the marketing route, right? And they're paying that in the form of a discount. So that's where they're paying their marketing. Jen with the Tax Shack here. Jen, is that Tax Shack in Ocala? If so, you're right down the street from us. And hi. And she says definitely a 30% loss, and I know that because I on the once a week I get out now, I pass there. So let me go back and talk about the loans here in the United States. So we have two of them available at this point. We had the $10,000, I call it the gift loan, that you could apply for a while back. That was going to be a loan that up to a certain amount of $10,000 that would be forgiven. Any small business could apply for that. And the application was the simplest thing I've ever done. And now we have the one that you contact your bank and it helps you with payroll and things like that. And if you have not applied for that, that's North Carolina Tax Shack. Oh, different one. So if you have not applied for that yet, you should call your bank and find out about that. So definitely contact your bank if you've seen any kind of loss at all, or if you have payroll, that's a payroll assistance loan that's available right now as well. Obviously, anything, and I want to talk to Renee's doing it right now, and actually Kat's doing it too. Anything you can do now to reach out and help. Yeah, April said it. We're not really concentrating on selling ads right now to our sponsors. We're focusing on our customers, and our customers, in case our listeners are our readers, and your customers are all the people who are buying things that you do. We're reaching out to them and trying to do things for them, and that is the shift that we should be making right now. Anybody?
Right. I think, supplying the dealers, the customers with website images and professional social media ads, promotions, giveaways, anything that they can get out there to connect with the consumer on Facebook. They too need to continue to be out there, and I think it's really a partnership. We need to get the product to them. We want them to promote it on Facebook for then when things do open up, even if the store is closed, they can still be on Facebook and be promoting products. And I think the manufacturer And we are putting some things together, additional things together for our dealers. So it really takes all of us to work together to keep it going. And
I'm going to add to that a little bit. So let's take you're a mom and pop tack shop, or even one that's a little bit bigger, but you're closed, right? You're that small to medium sized tack business, and you're closed because you don't sell feed and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So one of the things you can do if you're closed is you really can reach out. How about Facebook Live product reviews? Maybe once or twice a week,
Mhm.
because you have the products there. You can talk about them.
Mhm.
You know the products. Maybe you do a helmet at Facebook Live is so easy to do. You hit live, you set your phone down, and you do it. It doesn't have to be fancy like this setup is here. You can do a Facebook Live. How about you have a core set of customers that love you? They come in all the time. You know them by name. How about a Zoom call? They're all going through things too. And you could do a Zoom call with 25 of your best customers all talking about what they're doing in their barns to survive. So you be the leader. What I've been saying to all my podcast friends out there, in the podcasting world, is be the leader in your space right now. So your space may be your local community where you're the tack shop. You're the only one in a lot of these local communities. In Ocala, we're weird. We have 12 and 5 miles. But most places, you're the only one. So be the leader and start doing more of the Facebook Lives. Do some community things too. Get them together on Zoom. Do what we're doing here with your customers to help them share notes on what they're doing to keep their barns going, or where they can find hay if hay's getting short right now. So be proactive on those things. These are all things you can do, and they're not complicated. They're really not.
So Glenn, I wanted to just jump in on that because speaking of that, so we actually reached out to our ambassadors, and like we all have a tribe, right? All of our businesses have our community or tribe, whichever you call it. But those people are doing less than they have ever done, most of them right now. So they have a lot of time on their hands. And so we reached out to our ambassadors, what normally a project that would take weeks, if not a couple of months. We wanted video testimonials from them, and we wanted to get them edited. I mean, literally, I reached out, and within 3 days we had just like tons of videos rolling in. And now we've been able to target those and do social media ads with them, and they're really getting great engagement and conversion rates. But those are things like you can reach out to your community, and like you said, like these local tack shops, reach out to their customers and get really creative. I actually have a great friend of mine, and he's also an ambassador of ours. And they run horse shows. And what he did is created this great video, and he's doing online horse shows. They closed their horse show and they're doing it online. And it's actually really fun. He's made it super fun. Like you can upload if you're on lockdown in your house, you can upload this thing from your living room and like jump over couches and things, or you can actually upload your ride. But people are paying.
Can you demonstrate that for us, Kat, right now?
No, not. Don't worry, I didn't enter that one. But it's really fun because it makes it kind of a joke, but it's also, there's a serious element to it. And he's a very well-known clinician, so he does like a live voiceover and is critiquing the top 3 rides, and he put money into it. So you pay $25, you might have a chance to win a couple $100 if you win. They're placing the first 3, so it's a lot of fun. I think that this is a time where you could really get very creative with your tribe and, be able to come out of this, and it's all going to shake out. It's just who's going to shake out on top and who's going to shake out on the bottom.
So one of the other areas that you talked about, April, and this is so true, and it's been one of my pet peeves since I started in the retail world 20 years ago, and since we built that first website online that was god awful when back in the day when all websites were awful, but there are still those awful websites out there in the horse world. It is a perfect time. You never do your website work or have anybody do your website work because there's never a good time. Well, because you don't want to interrupt flow. Well, now's the time. That's right.
Definitely. Yeah. I think to make sure that your website is mobile friendly is really useful. We have stats, of course, on how people are accessing all of our content, and I'm shocked at how much is on cell phones. and devices like that. So I think that's an important piece. And like you said, a lot of people neglect their websites because they don't have time, they don't want that downtime. But now is the time to do those projects that you haven't had the time or resources to do before. And I think what we do now will all help us in the future when this is all over or things evolve and change. And so trying to stay positive and busy and keep working your business, I think, is really important.
So while you say that, I use my phone. I found toilet paper this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep. So I actually bought toilet paper from bed and had it shipped. It's the first time since it started.
What a world we live in.
I was so excited. It's like I won the lottery.
Yeah.
Well, one of the...
I think...
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think one thing that's really interesting about the horse industry too is, I mean, you said it's a luxury, but our horses still need to eat and be looked after. And so there is an opportunity there as well. I mean, as horse owners, I will feed my horse before I feed myself. So we're still looking, even though times are really challenging, we still want to uphold that level of care and quality and everything. So I think there are a lot of opportunities out there for businesses. I mean, especially when it comes to like feed and supplements and like tacking gear and stuff, most people where I am are still able to ride and access their horses on a different basis. So, I mean, it is still going. Nothing has stopped. Horses still need to eat. They still need care. So I think that's something that's kind of unique about this industry for sure.
I wanted to say hello to Tracy from Curison Animal Wound Care. Hi, Tracy. We've met several times at WESA. I wanted to throw that in there. And I also want to throw in a plug for WESA. They really have been good about getting this all arranged. As you know, I'll put that up here. They're doing their next show is coming up. It's going to be in Dallas. I'm excited. I've been to probably 30 of these trade shows now. Sherman's probably got me beat a little bit, right? You've probably been to 100.
Yeah. If I throw in all the other shows besides WESA, yes, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to do a round robin here right now with any final thoughts on what people can do. And then I'll give my thoughts on my opinions on what we're looking at time-wise from all my research over the last 60 days here and keeping an eye on everything. Sherman, we'll start with you. What are your final thoughts on maybe a helpful thing to throw out here for your...
just stay positive. This will be over hopefully shortly. I'm hoping by the end of the month we'll see some commerce coming back. But it depends on who you talk to. There's pessimists out there, so I don't know what the future will bring. I'm hoping that things will be better by certainly early May, and if so. We could still salvage a spring summer season. My territory is very, very dependent on the tourist industry, especially Montana, Wyoming, Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
And if this drags on until late summer, it's going to be decimating to a lot of accounts, mainstream and western. So. I'm certainly hopeful that this will pass in the next 30 days at most. But who knows? I guess just stay optimistic and do your part of social distancing and hope for the best.
Kat?
I would just really encourage people to keep a positive mental attitude. I think that is going to be huge here. I think you can, work on your personal attitude about this, but negativity is not going to get us anywhere, forward. So I think first and foremost is let's all be cautiously optimistic and stay positive with ourselves. And the second thing I'd really encourage everyone to do, and what we've been doing internally, is really use this time to find your opportunities within your tribes, within your customer base, and really get creative. Utilize your best minds, your best team members. Try to keep people on payroll as much as we can, utilize the government loans as much as we can, and really just support small business and local business as much as we can.
Very good. And I'm going to go to Renee next.
I think this is a really good opportunity to go out and market your business. The dealers need to market, or the manufacturers who are still, whether they're closed, they still, or hopefully still in business, but they need to market their products, market themselves to the dealers, to have the dealer, so the dealers know that they are still open and they're going to have a supply chain. That's going to be a key issue because of the global changing. And then the retailers, the dealers need to market their products, market themselves, even if they're closed, if they're sitting, in their living room or at their kitchen table. Get on Facebook and, show them what you have for spring. Get your consumers, they're looking, they're drooling, they can't wait to get out. When, things kind of lift, maybe they're going to have to wear a mask, when they shop in your store, but get them, don't let them forget you, let them know that you're there and you're ready when the doors open. Prepare a plan, prepare an opening plan, a marketing opening plan, to bring the consumers back in. Because I have 5 children and they have families, they want to get out there and they want to go shopping, and
I want to eat dinner in a restaurant.
Oh, really, yeah. Good. That's a good one. Yeah, very good. But I think it's very important. The consumers need to know that the store is just paused, temporarily paused.
By the way, I threw that out there because to add what you're saying there, Renee, I know of a store that is planning on doing a catered event when they're back open. So they're going to have a catered event where you can come and have dinner and shop at the same time.
See, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because people are wanting to get out to eat, right? So that's a perfect opportunity.
They're going to all want to get out to eat. We may have to still distance ourselves. We may have to wear masks. I think that's really what's coming.
That might make the eating tough, but
Well, that could be, as long as they're 6 foot apart, right? I suppose. We for an example, we give tours. We give perfume tours for our mixing bar for tourists in northeastern Indiana. And it's kind of my focus group, and I design in my studio, and we open it up. And we have thousands of people coming in all over the country to go through the perfume tours where we're closed. And so I have to rethink it and say, okay, so we can reopen.
You're going to be standing at the door now with a hand sanitizer. It's the hand sanitizer tour.
Hand sanitizer. Yeah. I get it all set. Right. It's got a sign that says washing stand over here.
Yeah.
Right? The washing stand over here. I got all in my mind. Okay, so have a sign, a cute little sign with a hand on it. That's what we're putting together. A washing stand over here. And then because obviously these wipes and, to wipe your hands, they're not going to be available. But we are making them with we'll make them with paper towels. And then our hand sanitizer that we're bringing out in a big jug. So you can pour those in. Those kind of things I'll tell our dealers. I'll put the formula together and then send that to them, because then they can offer a wipe, to their customers.
Renee, we're running out of time. What's the website, though, so where people can find that, where it's going to be?
Well, our website is it's AnnieOakley.com.
Okay.
And
will it be on there?
I'll launch it to our
dealers first. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, okay. But they can find your contact information on the website. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they can find the contact and get that information. But
good.
Then also I think we have to look at masks. And there are some, I'm searching right now for
Kat,
are you shipping? Are you going to be shipping?
Kat, you're shipping.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are shipping. You can place your order on benefabproducts.com. We do have adult face masks, and ours are double layer. They're fabric. They do not have the filters in them, but they are certainly protective, and that's actually what recently President Trump at the most recent press conference is saying. Any sort of fabric layer, but the double fabric layer is better.
Are they
So, yeah, and
stylish? Are they stylish? They have little horses on them, or?
no, they don't. Sorry,
Okay.
Glenn. Yeah,
What
we
was
have little lace around the edges.
Yeah,
and
can you
everything.
do
No,
that?
but they are comfortable. I will say we're using our poly blend, so they are bioceramic, so they're therapeutic clothing, but they're extremely comfortable because they have a little bit of a stretch. So unlike the cotton masks, they're a lot softer on your face. So I've now, of course, worn mine, and then I've worn the cotton, and they are very, soft and nice, comfortable to wear. And you can, of course, machine wash them too, which is nice for people. A lot of people are buying two, but we're selling them as individuals or 10 packs. And amazingly, so many people have opted for the 10 pack because you get a little bit of a savings, and there's no price gouging. It's $99 for a pack of 10, or one for $12.99. And you're supporting the local small business, and they're 110% made in the Benefab warehouse.
In Ocala, Florida.
Yes, very pristine, clean conditions. I don't think our place has ever been cleaner.
April, what about you? What's your final comments here? Oh, wait a minute, April. I had you on mute because I was getting background. Okay, so go ahead.
I think one of my favorite sayings that I learned like 10 years ago was, don't always be selling, but always have something for sale. And I think that's relevant right now because, of course, with the climate, a lot of people can't spend money, in retail and also in marketing too. And so now is the time to be communicative, offer inspiration, help where you can. And, it's just an opportunity, no matter how bad things are, there is an opportunity there to build relationships with clients and customers. And I think anything that we do now will help ensure that we all, come out on top at the end of this. So what we do now is really important, even if it's not necessarily selling, making money, but we're sort of laying that groundwork for our new normal after all of this.
May I add something?
Yeah.
I think it's important that the retailers put together a plan or procedures, or just simply, safety. So if they have like certain things available, like a hand washing area, etc., but just say that they're distancing, they're what they're doing to make their customer, the consumer, feel comfortable and safe. I know when this first kind of started, I went into Costco, and it was like, it just was a kind of, it was at the very beginning, but I was very much aware of what was happening, or going to happen. But they wiped down my cart, they wiped down the seat. I mean, it was really nice. Just like, you have something to hand them to, for their hands, or just to make them feel comfortable. Right. But to post it on your website, to post it on your Facebook, I think that, I think it needs to be not, it's just a new world, now.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to, create a lot of fear, for our customers, but to maybe make the copy very comforting, that we're here, we're open, we practice safety for our staff. We're all practicing safety, and create some kind of a plan, for that. So when things do let up, people will feel comfortable to come into your store to shop, because they know that you've taken responsibility to.
There's going to be like a cover charge. It'll be buy one of Kat's masks on your way in. That's your cover charge. You have to wear it, and it's $1 a squirt for Renee's. Yeah. So. All right, guys. We're running out of time. Sherman, I wish I was as optimistic as you time-wise. I am not. I think that in sales we talk about. We talk about you always sell the sizzle, and you always try and undersell and overdeliver, right? That's what you do in sales. You undersell and you overdeliver. I think in this case, we hope for the best, but we have to prepare for the worst. And
would
I
agree.
think that May is probably optimistic. We're still seeing, we're seeing the death rates at the highest they've ever been. That's going to happen for another week or two. And then our downside, you're out in Colorado. When you climb that mountain, you still got to go down the other side, and it's just as high, right? So I think that we're going to see as many weeks on the other side as we did on this side. And what we're going to see in this country is we're going to see it open up a little bit at a time. The areas that aren't as affected are going to start to open up before the areas that are. Virginia just went to close down till June the 10th. And we're going to see states start to do that as well. We're seeing horse shows closing all over the country through June and some into July now. So we have to be prepared. This is the time that you really then are going to have to focus on everything we just talked about. You're really going to have to do that. And obviously, we're all cutting costs where we can, right? And we're doing everything we can that way. But we also have to be focused. And it is going to end. But it's going to be different. I think Renee's absolutely right. I think there's going to be social distancing. Until there's a vaccine, we're going to see social distancing. So we're going to have to be prepared for all of that. So, yes, we hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst. We have to take that approach in this situation, is my opinion, because then you're not caught short, right? You're prepared, and if it's better quicker, that's terrific. And hopefully, there's medicine. Medicine, the thing that's going to save us here, right? Medicine and vaccines are the thing that's going to take us out of this, and then a better testing, of course, is what everybody's talking about. But it's true, we need more testing. So there'll be a new normal. We don't know what that's going to be. I personally think we're going to be into July and August before we see a lot of this country opening up and things getting semi back to normal, whatever that new normal is. But we have to be prepared for that, and we should be prepared for that. I don't want to be a downer at the end, but I also think we have to be realistic too. We have to think that, there's not going to be, and I've been saying this for 6 weeks, and finally the White House said it the other day. There's not going to be that magic switch date where a lot of people think June 15th, it's all going to be back to normal. We're going to be back in business. That's not going to happen. It's going to be a slow rollout over the country and different countries. We're not going to be traveling to other countries because they're going to be restricting us for a period of time, or we're going to be restricting them. So we talked about that with the professionals riders. They're not going to be going to Europe. And the Europeans aren't going to be coming here because there'll be countries you can't travel to and from for a period of time. Those are all things we have to take into consideration. And if you were a mobile unit, boy, I'd be looking at getting the website up really quick and adjusting. You're going to have to adjust right now because we're going to see horse shows affected for the rest of this year. So if you're a mobile unit, now's your time. You have the time to get adjusted and to make your customers also love you that go to the mobile unit. You know who you are. Now is the time when you can reach out to them. You need to get an online store set up quickly, which is not that hard to do, actually, and just get it done and that'll benefit you in the future, too. I know you never wanted to get into shipping products. I get that. None of us did, but we all ended up there at some point or another. So I'd be looking at that, too. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you to WESA for having us here today. We appreciate them, too. Go to the market in January. We will be back in business by then. We'll all go to Dallas. We'll have some steaks and some beer. Sherman, you and I have to have lunch.
I'd like that.
We could talk about the old days when none of this was a problem.
Right.
But thank you all. We really appreciate it. And we'll do this again. I hope, I hope we get to do it again. Yeah, actually, I hope we don't get to do it again. Because that means it's all over and we're all back to business. So let's hope for that. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.